Hi and welcome to SCW, the wrestling channel here on YouTube.com. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Please subscribe right now, leave any comments in the comment section. Please like and share the video as well and spread the word of SCW. It's a brand new concept on this particular video. I did Q&As a couple of years ago, but this is a brand new format of doing it through Twitter. I've been using a lot recently. So we're going to start this new series now, which is hashtag Ask SCW. So if you want to go and follow me on Twitter, you can do that now. SCW Wrestling Channel, or it's the @SCW, which are in capitals, then an underscore, capital S, and continue in normal cases for TEVE. So SCW underscore Steve is the Twitter handle that you can go and follow now, and you can ask me simply a question and just give the hashtag Ask SCW. Keep it wrestling related, and I will answer those in future videos and give you a shout out as well. You can even, if you're on YouTube, if you want your YouTube channel plugged, you can even do a question in the comment section of this video as well, and then it will be done on the following episode. So this is the premiere episode. I've got a number of questions which I'm going to answer for you now. I'm going to take it in turns. Going to give the people as well who have asked those questions a shout out as well, and we're going to crack on then with the first question, which is Slam Hub Wrestling, and they ask two questions here. Who do you think has been the wrestler of the year, and which was the match of the year so far? So to tackle then first off the wrestler of the year, it's a very difficult one to answer at this point because there's been quite a few standouts. I mean, first and foremost, you have to look at the superstars that do the high aerial spots, the flips. Guys like Ricochet and Will Ospreay have been absolutely killing it this year. Incredible matches. And just the stuff they do in the ring in general is unmatched by other superstars, which makes you believe maybe that they are potential candidates that could be there at the end of the year. You've got certain guys that always put on solid matches like Kenny Omega, you know, Okada. They put on those strong style matches. We've got the guys in NXT as well, like Johnny Gargano. Never fails to put on a decent match, especially on a takeover. It's always a 5-star. Adam Cole has had a great year as well, and I feel that we're really developing into his character. But I'm going to steer away from all those and going to give you an answer of Tessa Blanchard. Now, the reason I'm going to go for that is because women's wrestling has sort of been on the rise over the last few years. Definitely been taken a lot more seriously, and for people that are, you know, watching companies outside of WWE, they will be fully aware that Tessa Blanchard is changing the game on a women's level. She right now could instantly go into WWE and be taken extremely seriously, top end of the card, even arguably would be ready for as high a profile as a WrestleMania, in my personal opinion. I think she would have fit in very well in a Rousey, a Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair. For me personally, her and Tessa and Charlotte Flair is a dream match that I really want to see at some stage. But I mean, Tessa Blanchard, we look at her year so far. She's had some great matches, even on Impact tapings, or we even look at on the the pay-per-view specials. She had matches with the likes of Ty Valkyrie, which has been very good. I believe there was like a hardcore match that was done in Mexico, which was outstanding to watch on the TV tapings. Rebellion, her match with Gail Kim, is a standout as well. And recently, she seems to now stepped away from the women's division and gone into the men's division. And regardless of what anybody thinks of intergender wrestling, her match with Sami Callihan at the last pay-per-view Slammiversary really made some headlines and really was special. For me personally, I think it's a standout match of this year that is going to be remembered for years to come, and I don't think her year is finished. I think it's just getting started. I'm sure a few people as well will be probably thinking, why not Jon Moxley been mentioned yet? Well, for me, under Dean Ambrose, you know, when we look at perhaps a wrestler of the year, certainly through journeys of someone who's experienced something, he's definitely a candidate there. He's definitely someone I think could be a potential to be a wrestler of the year at the end of the year. But this moment, we've only seen a handful of matches, which have been fantastic matches since joining AEW and also being involved with New Japan. But at this particular moment, I don't think it's enough to put him in that pinnacle spot. As for match of the year, well, I mentioned a couple of matches there with just Tessa Blanchard alone, but they won't be my choices. But other matches that I've really enjoyed as well, the Lucha Brothers in LAX at the first Impact pay-per-view of the year, I believe it's Homecoming. That for me was a really standout good tag team match. We've had some great matches with AEW where we've seen Joey Janela and Dean Ambrose, or Jon Moxley, I should say. We've had a great series with Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano through takeovers, and we're going going to get another one at the upcoming TakeOver. But for me, at this point, rather than going for matches that simply have got everything clicked together perfectly just through delivery, because delivery in matches these days, we get great matches every single week. To get a story really is a lot harder to find in the current scale of modern professional wrestling. And one match that really stands out for me was at Double or Nothing, and that was Cody versus Dustin. Now, Dustin is 50 years old as well, and these two told a story which was absolutely incredible. And for me, it really stood out as a Match of the Year candidate, because you just felt that every move meant something. The blood that was involved, from Dustin, which you don't get so often as well. I don't know, the near falls, it was a match that I think people wanted to see, but I think they perhaps didn't expect that we're going to get such a great match. And I think when we come out of Double or Nothing, that really for me was a standout. And for someone that's been a fan of professional wrestling for longer probably than I probably want to mention, because it will show my age, but at the same time, I'm into the old school, and I like seeing those sort of matches which are played out with a true story. And I think for me personally, that match, Cody versus Dustin, currently is Match of the Year. Next then, the next question comes from Lance, and he asks, when is Braun Strowman gonna win a belt? Well, it's championship in WWE, as they like to say these days, but I'm going to go with you for a belt or even a title. I like the old school phrases. For me, Braun should have had one long ago by now. It felt like his peak and his hot point. He's had two hot points. 2 years ago, I believe around SummerSlam time, and when he went to the match at No Mercy against Brock Lesnar, the trigger should have been pulled then. I think last year, that trigger should have been pulled as well when he won Money in the Bank. Not that he needed Money in the Bank. He'd won the greatest Royal Rumble. Those accolades were there for him to win the belt at that point. And it just felt like after that, it really cooled off, especially when he didn't win the belt at Crown Jewel. It does make you wonder when WWE are going to pull the trigger with Braun, because he's a larger-than-life character. People do believe in him. And I think as well that he is something that's special, which would take casual fans to look at this product and say, I want to see what this larger-than-life guy can do, especially when he's doing crazy stuff every week on TV, where he's, flipping tables over people. You see what he did with Lashley a couple of weeks ago when they went through, the almost Titantron area into the electrical area. So for me, really, I would say hopefully sometime soon that WWE are going to get back on the bandwagon. I have read on news sites like ringsidenews.com, NoDQ, that a push is coming back for Braun Strowman. And I imagine with Paul Heyman now probably doing the writing for Monday Night Raw, that perhaps maybe we're going to see Braun Strowman out seen as one of the top guys. And I would like to think as we move towards a WrestleMania season that maybe we can get that momentum back with Braun Strowman. But to give you a definite answer, I don't know. It feels like WWE are never going to pull the trigger. But I would like to think that definitely at some point this year that he would win the belt. If I had to say, I would love to see Braun Strowman win the championship maybe towards the end of the year, going into Royal Rumble season, perhaps even into WrestleMania season. But it depends if they keep him a face or heel going forward, because at the moment it's a face, and with Paul Heyman, I know he has a lot of ideas probably up his sleeve, and it'll be interesting to see how they're going to play that out. But yeah, that's how I would do it anyway. I'd love to see it by the end of the year, but I would hope by WrestleMania season that they will perhaps give him a championship at some stage. Next, then we'll look at questions from George Jones. Now, this isn't on Twitter. He's a friend of ours on SCW, so he sent these via Facebook. He's got two questions, so we'll tackle them one at a time. The first one, who would I like to see Bray Wyatt face at the next WrestleMania? So, what we're looking at it, I mean, Bray Wyatt's come back to TV this week. Massively hot act. Everyone is on board with this right now, this Firefly Funhouse. It was awesome seeing him come back, and with the new mask and with the new ring attire. Something feels like we're going to get something very special with Bray Wyatt, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going to go. To answer your question, I would like it to be Alistair Black. And I'm going to give a scenario of how I think it should be booked, because it's simple just to throw two wrestlers together and say, what a great match. A lot of people wanted it at Extreme Rules as Bray Wyatt to be that mystery opponent against Alistair Black. I would have not liked that, because they're building both guys up, and one guy to take a fall this soon for me doesn't work. I would like to see Bray Wyatt dominate the Raw roster without being in the championship picture between now and WrestleMania. And I would like to see the same happen with Alistair Black. And you can just imagine that idea with the wildcard rule. We've got the Royal Rumble and pay-per-views where usually everyone is under the same roof, that we can start building a story together here. Alistair Black looking for someone for a fight continually, because I think that could be kind of a gimmick way going forward, that he just wants to fight and just wants to kick the head off the next guy he sees. And then eventually Bray Wyatt sees him in his sights, because those are the two undefeated guys between now and WrestleMania. And at that point then, if someone loses, it doesn't hurt. It just builds that one guy all the more. And I think that as well, when you look at the Bray Wyatt character, people are screaming, put the Universal Championship on him, put the WWE Championship on him. I can see him being like an Undertaker role in like that sort of like early to mid-90s after his first championship reign. Undertaker was not champion, I believe, from November 1991 till WrestleMania 13, which was like 1997. Undertaker was like a role like where is the attraction, which was just underneath the main event. And I think that that's a perfect spot for Bray Wyatt, because he is something different. And I think he can attract eyes to the product without a championship. He doesn't need it at this stage. He just needs to be booked strongly, and I think that that would be a good move for him going forward. I think Alistair Black would be a suitable opponent at WrestleMania. I think it would be a dream match for many, so I think that that would be a good one to do at WrestleMania 36. Your second question then from George Jones is, do you believe AEW will force WWE to create better weekly television? Well, arguably, it looks like WWE are taking steps into making that direction already. So we've now got Paul Heyman involved with Raw. Eric Bischoff is going to have a role on SmackDown. It feels, if you read the dirt sheets and the reports, that Heyman is going to have a creative point on Raw. We're not sure what Eric Bischoff's role is going to be on SmackDown, but I mean, looking at the two there, those guys have been involved in some of the most successful times in wrestling history. Arguably, yes, both their businesses did go under to WWE in the end, but both are aware of what to do to make a good product. I think Heyman is still very much in touch with today's audience, despite the fact that perhaps he's a bit older than what he was. Looking at the product itself, the fear factor for me is that you almost really can't counter what AEW is doing. They are standing for something different. So I think a lot of people that are currently anti-WWE and anti those storylines, that's just gonna create a cult following in itself. So for WWE to sort of keep fans on side, and for someone like myself, I want AEW to succeed, but I also want WWE just to get better. I'm still a WWE guy if I had to pick one of the two products now. And to look at that then and say, will they make something better? I do think the last couple of weeks have been an improvement on what we've had for the first perhaps 6 months of the year, and definitely the end of last year. I hope they continue to do some moves to make some compelling storylines. And I know George personally, and I know he's a big fan of some stables, some heel turns, face turns, shock value TV, and the idea of cliffhangers. And to be honest, I'm exactly the same, and I hope those are brought out as well. Whether WWE will bring those into effect, we'll have to wait and see. They're definitely being thrown out the heel turns, but we'll have to wait and see if we get a bit more of the shock element of TV. But I'm certainly hopeful that we're going to get a better product now going into the rest of the year. Right, next then we're going to look at a question from Dale Porter. And we mentioned AEW there. So if AEW can acquire CM Punk, do you think the floodgates will open for other WWE and TNA superstars to jump ships? Do you think that AEW hiring Tully Blanchard may influence Tessa to come to AEW? So two questions there as well. Well, to start off there with CM Punk, of course, the next AEW big special event, All Out, is going to be in Chicago at the end of August. I just have that feeling that CM Punk might just appear. I don't know if he's going to be... The thing is, if he appears, people will assume he is part of the product. It would be interesting to see if he appeared in a non-role. I still think that that would create such big buzz. I would love CM Punk to come back to wrestling. I just feel the way he left, he went out with a whimper. I just think it would be... There was a purpose for him to come back, and that is almost to stick it to WWE and to give us a different competitor. And CM Punk is such a household name, and also competing in UFC, which I know was not successful. I think he would bring a lot of eyes to AEW, and I think if he wants to go, I do think that it would influence other superstars to want to join AEW if they're not influenced already. I mean, we've gone there from a creative standpoint from WWE. If we look at John Moxley's podcasts and stuff like that, of how the machine works in WWE. If we believe Dave Meltzer, that a lot of superstars have been talking to AEW and seeing if there's maybe a spot open in the future. I don't know if any of that's true or not. With Impact Wrestling, they are losing stars rapidly, and I do feel for Impact. LAX are probably the next ones that are probably going to go. They've already lost Eli Drake this year. Scarlett Bordeaux has gone. The Lucha Brothers are gone also. So there's been some talent there that people would have watched Impact especially to see, and they're going to other places now. The Lucha Brothers now will be involved with AEW and, of course, with AAA in Mexico. I wouldn't be surprised if more from Impact Wrestling do go to AEW. It feels to me that there's such a talent pool in Impact that they will want to be on a bigger showcase than what they're currently on. The Pursuit channel gets like 12,000 viewers every week, which is not enough if you want to make it big. I mean, there are rumours that Killer Cross wants to leave as well, and I think he would be a perfect fit for either AEW or WWE. I think even AEW more, because he's almost a bigger guy than most of the wrestlers they hire, and I think he would stand out, and I think that he would have a very successful run there. So I think there is potential that other superstars, yes, would be interested if CM Punk was to go. Then, of course, you've got the likes there of CM Punk, you've got John Moxley, you've got Jericho, Cody, the Young Bucks, Lucha Brothers. It's a talented roster, and I think that if CM Punk was to join, I think more talent would be wanting to join. Yeah, I do agree with you. To look at your other question, as you said there about AEW getting Tully Blanchard in, and would that convince Tessa to come maybe at some stage? Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned earlier in the video, she's killing it right now, and I think she's going to be no short of demand from any company in the world wanting to sign her when her contract is coming up with Impact. If anything, if I was Impact, I would try and tie her down to a longer contract now with more money, because if they don't do that, I think they've got a fear of losing her. And I think one place that AEW is really lacking, in my opinion, is the women's division. I don't think it's that strong. I actually think that even if you look at Impact, their women's roster is stronger. WWE's is stronger. I do think that AEW is stronger than ROH's women's division right now, purely because of the fact that a couple of their ones have gone. And I'm not such a big fan of the Allure. I must be honest with that. But I think when you look at it, I think that for women's wrestlers at the moment, they probably see a good opportunity in AEW to go and stand out and become a star. I think Kelly Klein would be one as well. Maybe in ROH when her contract comes up, perhaps would look for mainstream as well. But I can see that happening, yeah. Tessa Blanchard, I can see her joining AEW when it comes. I would love her to go to WWE from a personal standpoint, purely because I'm selfish and I want to see matches against the likes of Bayley, Charlotte Flair, Ember Moon. I want to see that, but that, of course, remains to be seen. We do have one more question from Dal Porter on this particular video, and he has said that since WWE is going to run their NXT show against AEW's televised show in October, are we getting ready for Wednesday Night Wars with way greater talent? Well, I mean, that does, I suppose, come down to opinion. I must disagree with that a little bit, because I think we had the greatest talent of characters available in the Attitude Era. So personally, for me, I don't think today's market is actually on the same level as that era, mainly due to character development. But I do think that someone like AEW is going to perhaps try and address that. I feel that with, like I mentioned, the Cody and Dustin match earlier, they are trying to get, and they have lots of different characters, lots of different people that stand out. So I feel they're going to try and go with a character element. So I think that AEW has got that potential to succeed on that. So we look at that as a war. I think that, yeah, that war will be on. I think WWE in general is going to look to be at a war. I think at this point they think NXT will be enough to do that. Time will tell and say that if it is, and if it doesn't, it'll be interesting to see what they do from there, because it feels at the moment they are trying to counter everything AEW does. And of course, we only have to look at the Evolve 10th anniversary show, which was on the network just a couple of weeks ago. Next, we have another question then in, and this one's from James Steele, another good friend as well from SCW. Of course, has been on quite a few of the podcast interviews that we've done previously. His question is, who do you think from NXT has the potential to be the next big breakout star? Well, there are a number of talents in NXT for me that have got that potential to be the breakout star. I mean, we've only got to look at Velveteen Dream. We've got to look at, Matt Riddle. They're guys that are begging to be stars. I mean, we talked about character development there. I mean, we've got two guys there that stand out for their characters alone there. Personally, for me, Matt Riddle has been massively improving in ring this week as well. This year, I should say. He's put on some stellar matches in NXT. Velveteen Dream has been great on the takeovers for a long time now. But if we're going to go for a breakout star, I mean, there's so many great guys down. I mean, people we're not even talked about. I mean, Gargano is down there. Ciampa will be going back to NXT. Kushida is there. But for me, the Undisputed Era are the guys for me who are the big breakout stars. And the reason they will get that for me is because if they stay together as a group, they are almost like a modern version for me of the NWO, and they are cool in what they do, the elements of how they do things on NXT. If that can be brought into the main roster, I think they have a chance of level to succeed. If they put on the right show with the right gap, with the right momentum, it can all take off for them. And I really think that they could be someone that would be successful, because you've got Adam Cole that can go between the mid-title and the main title. You've got a tag team between the other three, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish are usually the tag team. And Roderick Strong is good for the handiwork as well in there. And I think together as a combined, they have got the potentials to be there. And then the real breakout star of that group, of course, is Adam Cole. So for me, my choice there is Adam Cole. But there is so many great talents there that I've not even mentioned from NXT. And I think that there will be more talents that will be shown to break out as we go through. For one that's probably an underground one that's not really had too much TV time yet, Damian Priest will be my answer for you on the side, because he has been in Ring of Honor under Punishment Martinez, and he's got the height, the look. He can fly around like a cruiserweight. He can do some big strong moves in the ring as well. And I think that this guy's got a lot of tools, and with a bit more time, I think he's got potential as well to be a breakout star in WWE and really make it towards the top of the card, because, like I say, he's also a big guy. Next then, we're going to go then for the Aussie Illusion, hope I've said that right, blogs and podcasts. They are asking, what are your thoughts on the Right to Censor and their theme song? So I like it. An old school question here from the Attitude Era here. We're going back to the year 2000. Right to Censor for me, at the time I hated them. I won't lie. I absolutely hated them. I was probably around 14 years old when they were around, and they took all these cool characters that we liked, and they turned them into these guys that were completely boring and almost against anything that was racy. And of course, this was a very different era. You wouldn't need those sort of characters today, because we took Stevie Richards, who had convinced people to join, like the Godfather, who was a pimp. We had Val Venus, who was a porn star. Or Bull Buchanan was lost in the shuffle, and he kind of just fit the bill. And when you look at it now, it was genius, really, because they took these characters and it really made that group something, because of the fact that she took these characters that were so out there and in your face, and they were completely different. They were mellow. They were just almost lack of personality, soulless. And, when we look into you say their theme music, it hurt my ears, but at the same time, it was perfect for the character and for the dimension of what they wanted. The whole gimmick really was extremely underrated, because of the fact I think we all kind of hated it at the time. We didn't appreciate it. And I mean, Ivory was a part of that as well, and I think she did a great role with that, and arguably was probably her most successful stint of her career. She got a WrestleMania match out of it. So, of course, with China at WrestleMania 17. So, yeah, I mean, Right to Censor for me, massively underrated. As for the music, I appreciate what they did, but I wouldn't use it on my Spotify list. Next then, we've got our question from Get Show Wrestling Podcast. Who's your favourite member of the Mean Street Posse? Now we're going straight back to the Attitude Era there, and can we imagine a rivalry very quickly of the Mean Street Posse against Right to Censor? I'm not sure if we wanted to see that back then, but yeah, we had Joey Abs, we had Rodney, we had Pete Gas. For me, I'll go Pete Gas, just simply because of the fact that I thought he was the best wrestler of the three. I thought it was a fun gimmick at the time, and I didn't think they were the best superstars in the ring, but I think Pete Gas had the most to give, so he'll be my choice of probably my favourite of the Mean Street Posse. But that's all the questions there for you then on this episode 1 there, hashtag AskSCW. If you have any answers of your own that you have to these questions, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, like to know if you agree or disagree with my feelings on the topics. If you've got any questions for episode 2, please leave them in the description here. Of course, as well, you can hit me up on Twitter as well, SCW SCW Wrestling Channel, and of course, it's at SCW_Steve, which should be coming up on your screen right now. But that's all from me anyway. Thank you very much for watching. And yeah, keep an eye out as well. We'll be doing a Raw reunion video as well. So make sure to look out for that as well. That'll be coming to the channel very, very shortly. So keep an eye out for that. But that's all from me anyway here on SCW. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time here on YouTube.com. Take care. Thank you. And share the word of SCW. See you next time.